Whoa. Tired of living broke, so before I sleep, I pray.
All right, welcome to another episode of Crab Legs and Kool-Aid. This is your host, Titus Early, making baby. And this is the podcast where we get to know the human behind the artist, right? It's not, we don't know what we're going to talk about. Sometimes it's chill stuff. Sometimes it's deep stuff. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it's not. Ain't no pressure. We're just vibing, getting to know people. So today, I'm in the studio with somebody I've been excited to talk to for a long time. Because his energy is amazing. And let me just let you meet him yourself if you don't already know him. Big Ruba, what up, baby?
Oh my God, I feel like I'm in New Orleans. Nolans?
I keep doing the accent.
What do they say?
Nolans.
Nolans.
I feel like the fake people say Nolans. I think the real ones just say New Orleans.
New Orleans. Okay.
Is that right? I don't know.
I want a beignet.
But hold on. Oh.
So good. So yummy.
Let's run it back to the moan. His natural, if y'all watch any of his videos, his natural response to almost everything is like this kind of moan. Would you call it a moan?
Listen, people now categorize it as a moan.
And it's not inappropriate. It's not sexual. It's just his response is a moan. It's hilarious to me. Like you'll be saying something, you're like,
Stop. Is that what I sound like?
100%.
Okay.
But anyway, with that said, welcome. Thank you, man.
Thank you for having me. This is so cool, Titus.
It's a vibe.
It's
I'm here
wild.
for it.
I'm so proud of you. This is incredible.
Look, a shout out to producer Courtney because
Courtney's killing it.
This is her space,
you,
and she's just doing it. And we love you, Courtney. She's looking at me over here, but it's fine. Anyway, okay, you know what? So before I get into you, I typically will ask two questions. Well, I have a quote of the day, and I have a question I like to ask.
Ask me whatever, Titus.
The first question, because this is Crab Legs and Kool-Aid podcast, what Kool-Aid flavor was your favorite growing up? What was that face?
Well, I actually grew up a vegetarian, and my mom was very, like, she's a little bit more lenient now, but growing up, we weren't allowed to have Kool-Aid. That was, like, blasphemous. My mom was like, what? You'll have some Mott's, like, guava. Like, I was that kid. I kid you not.
No
like, my mom
Kool-Aid?
she made all of our lunches, vegetarian. Like, I would come to school, kids were like, what is that?
So wait, did you ever, fascinating, because did you ever, as a black kid, did you ever think, did anybody ever ask you, did you ever see people drink Kool-Aid and be like, oh, what is that? Or did you know, you just knew you weren't allowed to have it?
You know, I saw it on commercials, but
Right,
I never, as a kid, that's all you would see. You know what I mean?
The big old Kool-Aid,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know his voice.
But I never thought like, oh, I want that because I had everything that I needed and it was always
Interesting.
really good.
That's a turn. That's a twist.
I
That's a
kid
plot
you-
twist.
I kid you not. It wasn't until I got older where I was like, oh, okay, Kool-Aid.
I thought the first person that would answer that way would be my more
White?
Sprite. Oh, I was gonna be polite.
Your white guess.
Yeah.
I get it. I
but you know what I'm
totally
saying?
get it.
Because I'm like, okay, you probably didn't have Kool-Aid, so I'm fascinated to see what you. But you just threw a little curveball. You ain't never had. To this day, you never had it.
No. As I got older, I did. Like probably in my 20s.
And wait, vegan.
I was a vegetarian, not vegan.
Oh, but even vegetarian.
Yeah.
Is that out of the realm of what you can
My
have?
mom was all about whole foods.
Oh,
do you
okay.
understand? Like if we got a cold, she would give us echinacea, golden seal,
Oh, that's
garlic,
good, though.
all the things.
Shout out to moms because
My
honestly,
mom was on it. She still is.
that actually is. You know what? We might have a lot fewer mental issues if we all would have stayed away from all the sugar intake.
I agree.
So honestly, shout out to mom, but
Yeah.
that sucks for that question. But now that you've had it,
I'm sorry to blow
is there
your
a
question.
certain? Okay, so this is also funny because I've never said this before asking a guest, but you know how you classify the colors as a flavor. So it's like, what's your favorite flavor? We would say red.
Red.
right. So what's your favorite flavor?
My favorite, the first thing that comes to mind is grape.
Great, the
I
purple.
love the purple.
Purple.
But should have said purple.
You should have said purple from the beginning. Yeah, you know that.
Whoopsies.
But honestly, that's good that you said that of what you said in the first place about how you were raised, because it is assumed that that's not something cultural that we would have done. Like to be candid, in a black family, you don't really think or hear that it's like you would grown up vegetarian. Like you don't think that. Like it's just not common to hear. So that's kind of cool for the sake of people.
Yeah, I was
being identified with?
I know absolutely. I'm originally from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I've been here in LA since I was 7 years old, and my mom had the first Whole Food store in Pittsburgh.
Oh, she's
so
been hyped to it.
My mom
Yeah.
was on that. She
Yeah.
was like truly a trailblazer in that
Yeah.
sense.
Oh, she really was because I feel like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and all that stuff like blew up. I mean, it was around, but like it became like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
like later. So
Yeah,
she
yeah.
was really ahead of her
She was
time
on
with
it.
that. Okay, moms. Okay, so that was fascinating. We learned that not all black people had Kool-Aid growing up. The quote of the day:
Silly.
"Stay afraid." Interesting way to start this. It's a longer quote, but here we go. "Stay afraid, but do it anyway. What's important is the action. You don't have to wait to be confident. Just do it, and eventually the confidence will follow." Let me read it again. Okay. "Stay afraid, but do it anyway. What's important is the action. But you don't have to wait to be confident. Just do it, and eventually the confidence will follow." So, what do you take away from that? Does that mean anything to you? And look, I can repeat it again because it was long.
No,
if you need to.
I got it.
You got it?
Titus. That's my life, baby.
Okay.
Do you hear me?
And I felt like that quote, when I was searching through quotes, I was like, I feel like that would hit for him.
Like God, that
Yeah.
like literally speaks to my soul.
Yeah.
Like I believe without a shadow of a doubt, when you jump, the universe will catch you. Is it scary? Absolutely. But I'm an Aries and I believe in a nice thrill. Listen,
Okay.
go ahead, baby.
No, because
go.
I was like, I don't want to pivot yet, but we're going to come back. Remember to come back to the signs of it all. 'Cause we were talking before we started rolling, we were talking about my sign,
Yeah, yeah.
and he was trying to guess. But anyway, you're Aries.
Yeah.
And you say you operate off of the thrill. What were we saying?
Yeah, I jump. I really do. Like I you know, I don't know. I'm all about the side of TikTok where there's like mediums and card readers
Okay,
and like people talking about, the
Oh,
signs and
that's- yeah.
Pluto jumping into this and that. Like I'm a firm believer in all of that stuff.
Okay.
And they always just say like it's important to evolve and it's important to jump timelines. And I believe that's what I've been doing. all
Okay,
of my
hold
life.
on.
Yeah.
You throwing a lot. So
It's wild.
we got mediums, we got this, we got timelines. So when we say timelines, have you seen Loki on Marvel? I mean,
no, I haven't. I'm not a big like
Marvel
superhero
super-
type of thing. My adult ADD.
that's fine. But the whole, I guess, premise of the show, well, honestly, just Marvel in general, they're doing like this multiverse thing where there's timelines,
Okay.
right? So I'm like, is that kind of what we're talking about in the sense of, what do you mean when you say timelines? Because I'm not hip to all that. Like, I don't really know all that world.
What I mean is, let's just say, for an example, you're an incredible actor. Like you've been, let's just say you're working on a show for 6 seasons, and that's all that you put your energy into, and like that was your whole world. Having the cast and crew became like your family for like 7 years,
Right.
and then all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm gonna do music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like
You're
that
accurate.
is
That's my life.
jumping timelines
timeline.
in a sense.
Oh, I like that.
Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you were so immersed in a world, and there was people that you saw, and there was a routine that you had. You knew exactly what you were going to be doing for 6 years straight.
Yeah,
you knew
yeah.
all the people you're going to see, all the people you're going to work with.
Right.
The where your character was going, all those
Yeah.
different things. Then all of a sudden, you're like, I've had enough of this. This was a dream of mine, but I've checked that off my bucket list.
Right.
Let's go do something else. To me, that's
A
in a
timeline
sense
shift.
of jumping.
I like that.
Timelines.
And I like being able to define it as that, because you kind of don't know what's happening, and to give it a word kind of helps your brain be like, sometimes, because I don't like labeling everything.
I know
what
what
I'm
you
saying?
mean,
But like giving that specific thing a word, it's kind of like, oh, like that makes a lot more sense to me, because that is, you literally described exactly my life. Because it's like, not that I'm done with acting, but I experienced that exact thing where acting was making the most sense.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm sorry to cut
No,
you
do it.
off.
Everything
But
works.
you are such a handsome young man.
Thank you.
I kid you not.
Coming from the model himself, I'm like, y'all see it. He looked like a porcelain human.
Oh my Lord, thank you.
If
Muchas
only we
gracias.
could all just have the freaking shape of face. I got to hold my face at the right angle to get the jawline and the structure that he has. You know what I'm
Honestly,
saying?
Titus, when I look at you, I feel like I'm looking into a mirror. I'm not even kidding.
Well, you know what? that's a compliment.
No, truly, you're such
thank
a
you.
stunning young man.
But the fact that he
Beautiful
said a
lips.
mirror, so which means he complimented himself, really. 'Cause if I'm the mirror of him. Okay, but we love that. Thank you. The snort.
Let me live
You
my
have a
life.
lot of sound effects.
Stop. Let me
You
live
have
my
you
best
need
life.
you know how on TikTok that we can click the button if we're on live and it can do like an applause, or like it can do you know about this?
I didn't know.
Okay, so you can there's a sound panel
Like a
that you can have
soundboard.
on a soundboard. You need your own soundboard.
Wow.
It's gotta be like and like
That'd be so fun.
yes, that's funny. Okay, anyway, back to the timeline, because that's Okay, sorry. The timeline is accurate to my life because I can't even look because he's gonna make me laugh.
It's okay, baby.
No, it's amazing.
We're
It's amazing. The timeline thing is dope because so many people have asked me, "Oh, why switch if it's working?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, one, I don't consider it a switch. Let's start there because I'm like, I'm not leaving acting.
Right.
I'm just growing as an artist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't know that I started in music. So they'll view my journey as like, oh, the acting thing popped off and then now you're trying to start. Okay, also my accents switch. I'll do whatever I feel. So we started with New Orleans at the top of the show. And then right now I said popped off. Little New York came out because I'm not from there, but it felt like I wanted to be for that sentence. You feel me?
Live your best life.
You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes I bruv, no.
Really? Wow.
And they're all bad accents, mind you. Anyway, but people will assume that, oh, you started acting. Why are you switching to music? Because acting's going so well. Like, doesn't it make sense to just stay in acting?
Yeah.
All to say, I like that, this timeline concept. I don't know, it resonates with me. So I like that. You're the first person I've heard that from. Is that like a thing that people know about?
Yeah.
Oh, it is? It's kind of like no judgment to anybody when I say this, but is it in the crystal world of things? Like people that typically like crystals or like tarot readings?
Yeah, I guess so. But I feel like there's tiers to this. You know, that's how I digest it. So it works for me. As long as it makes sense to me, it's all that matters.
Honestly.
Truly.
But that's like, but okay, cool. So you resonate with that quote. I do too. And I mean, and as far as like what was it? It said, stay afraid, but do it anyway. Huge in our industry. I'm like, I'm scared most of the time I'm doing something technically. Like there's parts of me, I'm intimidated by this environment. You know what I'm saying? Like it's new to me, but do it anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it was like stepping on stage, people will be like, oh, you thrive. Like, and I imagine you the same way. When you get up there, you go into performance mode. And I guess it's that Sasha Fierce that we all hear about, right? Where it's like, but I'm afraid technically, like I have fears of like, oh, I don't want to I don't want whatever, but the reality is you do it anyway.
Yeah.
And you navigate, you learn your space.
You learn along the way.
Amazing.
It's like life.
It's just literally like life. Okay, so let's just dive. These are my actual personal questions that I've always wanted to ask you. So we know a lot about, we think we know a lot about Ruba. That's the first thing because we've seen the reality TV show. We've seen the social media presence. A couple of questions. Where did entertainment start for you? Like at what age? And I mean that in the full faceted answer, where like you as a personality, even like where did all that develop? Was it something you saw? Was it something whatever?
I've always loved entertainment, like music specifically, and that's always something that I've wanted to as a kid. Being, queer, Jamaican, black kid, like literally growing up in Southern California, I was bullied heavily. And not even to be like, oh my God, woe is me. But that was like my story. And as soon as I got home, I put on MTV, I saw Britney. I was like, this is my mother. This is my sister.
And like, don't you miss that? Sorry to cut you off, but don't you miss that era of MTV?
Of
TRL, people standing outside, like the countdown.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
Just the
106 Park, any of it.
Gone. It was truly an era.
Anyway.
Came and went. But truly, I kid you not, like Britney was like my saving grace. And I was like, oh my God, all these people are telling this young, beautiful girl she can't be who she is. I identified with that. Because I was like, my God, I had like, I'm the youngest of 6. And I had like siblings who were like, you're acting like a girl. Stop doing that. You know what I mean? Just based off of, life. People tell, saying certain things. Guys can't do this. Guys can't wear this. Guys can't listen to this music. I heard all of that. And I was like, oh my God, I felt like I was being suppressed. But at the same time, I knew who I was and what I wanted. But it was just like all these outside forces trying to throw their ideas on me. So I would see Britney and I was like, oh my gosh, she doesn't care. She's going to rip off her freaking black tuxedo and be in a full like sequin, bodysuit. Like I lived for that stuff. So for me, growing up, I loved powerful women.
I love that.
I loved it. And I still do to this day. God is a woman.
Look, and you know what's crazy is back then, that sparked a couple thoughts. Because remember back then when she ripped off that suit and she had that sequence outfit on, we thought, like that made the headlines. We thought that was the most, whoa, she's naked.
Shocking.
But when you look at it now,
nothing.
Like you can't even see through it.
What did she do?
It's literally like, I feel bad for her, because at the time I was like, I remember thinking on both sides, like, man, that is kind of like revealing, like, wow, like, because in our heads that it was nude, so it was see-through. But like, when you look at the outfit now, it's full covering. Like, the only thing showing is her midriff, literally.
And even if she did, who gives a rat's ass?
But that's what I'm saying. Like back then, but nowadays, like that's like the easiest outfit. Like if you wore that, we'd be like,
and
a little boring. You know what I mean? Like you can go further. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can reveal
And
more.
I love that.
Right.
I love that.
And we've
now.
evolved. But also, that leads me to this thought. Your Britney was my Andre 3000. So I remember I felt that same oppression in a different way, where it was like I was in an environment where everybody, because growing up I was called like whitewash and like, you know, because I wasn't the most hood dude. You know what I'm saying? Like they have all this stigma, whatever, that our culture be saying sometimes. And I'm like, I always saw Andre 3000 in Outkast, and he had like more quirky look, and like he spoke a little different. So I remember seeing Andre and being like, oh, I felt like I had permission to be like not hood.
Yeah.
Because I was never hood. I'm not
That
from
wasn't
a
you.
hood.
Yeah.
Like I just wasn't, but I would always like, you know, have the sagging pants, had a bottom grill, like I had cornrows, like I would do the whole thing.
Yeah, the aesthetic.
Because being in Georgia, and we're a military family, I was all over the place, but being everywhere I was, that was the aesthetic, right? So I was like, you know, saying and trying to do all the things, but I was like, Andre was my Britney shift.
I love it.
Where I was like, oh, I'm allowed to be free, quirky, weird me. Like I was like, oh, and to this day, my music is influenced by that. I'm like, now I finally got to a point in my life where I'm like, I'm gonna wear what I want. If it's a wig, it's a wig. If it's shimmery, it's shimmery. If it's colorful, it whatever.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying?
I do. Continue to free yourself, Titus.
Okay, so outside of that, so if Britney was the influence there, at what age did you decide for yourself to like kind of like, I want to like actually go record something or like be on, you know what I mean? Like something happens where you're like confident to start actually putting it out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I went to like performing arts, like in middle school and high school. I went to Loxa, and like obviously all the kids. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, Los Angeles County High School for the Arts. Everybody and their mother
was trained up in it.
Everybody went there. So, you know, it was really cool because it was something that I always wanted to do. In my immediate family, out of all my siblings, I was the only one who was like, this is what I want to do. Do you know what I mean? I had a brother who was like into like football and like just all the other things. But I was the one, I was like, I need to be in this field, you know? So I like made the conscious decision to show the different, you know, magnet performing arts middle schools and high schools to my mom, like, this is what I want to do. This is the school I want to go to. And once I got accepted and I was around all of the people that were doing the things that were currently on like Disney shows and all the things, I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. So it was just, it was a matter of.
Did Disney influence you like it did me?
You know what's interesting?
What?
I love Disney. I really did. And I always wanted to do the whole
hold
little
on,
one
hold
thing.
on. No.
But
What you about to say?
No. But it never, once again, it never, that wasn't. I don't know.
Are you dead? What do you mean? Raven?
No, listen, I loved all those shows. Those shows were legendary.
Xenon? Zetus Lapidus?
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. All that. Zoom, all that. I get it. Listen, but it just wasn't, once again, Britney was like
that
my
was
girl.
it for you. That's all you needed.
Yeah, it was just
Britney.
the MTV of it all.
Oh, interesting. Because I'm like, I feel like, I don't even know what age group we're in amongst each other, but I feel like people that, if you're not Gen Z, you had a strong appreciation for Disney Channel.
Disney
so
Channel
to hear
was
this
everything.
is
It was
offensive.
great.
No, I'm just kidding.
Shut up. Don't you drag me.
Drug. I can't even get up there.
Yeah, you can. Just think
I can.
high.
I'll warm up later. But that actually is interesting that it was just that solely.
But I watched
So
Disney.
who's your favorite artist? Outside of Britney, you can't say her. Because we know Britney.
JoJo. I love JoJo.
We're talking JoJo.
Yes.
JoJo Siwa?
No,
JoJo.
Get Out. Yeah, that's one of my
The fact that you know the last name. Is that her last name?
No,
Wait, who are you talking about?
I sing it.
Wait. There's a lot of JoJos.
No, JoJo Levesque. Get Out. The
Oh,
song. Get out right now. Yeah. You said her last name.
Because I was thinking David Guetta, Get Out. I was like, that's her last name? JoJo.
I was going to let you have that, but then you came back again, and I was like, no, that's not her last name.
You got to know what you're talking about.
Oh,
but yes, JoJo's a GOAT.
I love her. That's one of my favorite.
Have you heard that new song with her and Tori Kelly?
Yes.
My other thing.
Yeah. Off her new album. It's so good.
Okay, JoJo. Okay, you're interesting in a good way. Like, it's not the conventional answers that I would think.
Really?
Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
okay. I'm a walking contradiction in the best way possible.
In a beautiful way.
In the best way possible.
Also, side note, I have ADD, and this topic that I'm about to switch it to
As you
proves
should.
it.
I jump.
Have you Do you have a picture of you with no dreads? At what age did you start growing dreads?
I've had dreads since I was 3 years old.
Shut
and
up.
I've trimmed my hair several times, and I think I'm in the mindset of trimming again.
What is trim? Like, what does it
Trim
go
is
to?
like take off at least like 6,
Oh, so they're
7
still
inches.
super long.
Yeah, my hair like is down to my butt.
That's crazy.
And this is like the 4th time it's been here.
Because I was like, I don't think I've ever seen you not with dreads.
I've always,
Well, granted, I
always.
haven't known you more than, it's actually, run it back, ADD. When did we meet?
I feel like we met in like
It's been a good amount of years.
14, 15, 2015.
Really?
Something like that. I interviewed you.
100%.
I remember
But
it like
wait,
in a situation like
literally.
this.
But wait, 10 years?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Sorry, my brain is like jogging back right
No,
now. That's
absolutely.
wild.
It's freaking
10 years?
insane. Probably over 10 years now.
Probably
Yeah.
over. That's wild.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I remember interviewing
I was
you
gonna
at
give
a
us like
studio in
5.
Burbank. Yeah.
But 10. You're right. You might be right.
Yeah.
Dang. Crazy.
Isn't
Time
that
flies.
insane?
And you look like you ain't aged once.
Oh, black don't crack.
It sure does.
Especially when you take care.
But when it does, it hits hard. And let me explain.
Stop.
Because you know how there's some people that be golden, and then it just Morgan Freeman.
God,
And no shade.
listen, I just aspire to continue to be a good person. Do you know what I mean? Because I really believe that's what reflects
But
on
it
your
does.
face
Oh, fair enough.
and eating well.
And eating well.
Yeah.
And eating well. I mean, there's something to be said. I feel like in with Black and Asian specifically, we look very young 80% of our lives.
Yeah.
And then for the 20, we look like we've been 80 since you've known. It's kind of like, you know who's on this? Wait, there's a lot of celebrities, and this is no shade to anybody, like beautiful people, that I've never seen young. Meryl Streep, I
agree.
don't know what a young version of her looks like,
Yeah.
unless I Google it. But I mean, as far as like my perception of her and her biggest fame,
Yeah.
I'm like, I've never
She was
seen
always
her
a grown woman.
grown.
Yeah.
Same with like a Morgan Freeman, obviously. But
yeah.
like there's a few people that I'm like, have they ever been young?
Stop. You're
You know what I mean? Did it happen?
wild.
Were you
They
born?
just like came
Were you
out
born
grown.
grown and ready to perform? Like they was just grown. Okay, so anyway, as far as your unconventional, in my opinion, artist choices or whatever, and they're dope choices.
Okay.
But in my head, I would imagine like I mean, obviously we can just do the typical like a Beyonce, right? Which obviously I would imagine you would appreciate. But like you would think that like, I don't know, like I appreciate the JoJo answer. When somebody digs in deeper, you're like, oh, you actually know something.
Listen. I love my Beyonces. I love my Gaga. Like I love Gaga. I think the reason why I went to JoJo is because like I kind of grew up with her, and I always looked at her like, oh my God, she has it together. And like, as I got older, she did too, and she started writing about the things that I was currently going through. So to me, I have a very deep connection in my mind with her.
That makes sense. No, that makes sense. So when I think of JoJo, I think of industry oppression.
Copy.
So, I mean, and she's spoken about it openly, no secret there.
Yeah.
But it's like, one, have you experienced anything like that? Where it's like, behind the scenes, somebody's held you back and you're like, I would be doing something, but they're in the way. Or, actually, let's answer that first, because I don't want to overload.
Yeah. To answer your question, I interviewed you again during, I don't know if you remember this.
Amazing.
This was like 21. This was like 21. I think you were promoting the Rookie.
Okay.
And I was on a show on NBC Peacock. And we did that show for 2 years straight. It was a live rolling news show.
I remember you being on the show.
Yeah, do you remember? It was
I don't
like
remember
me
our
and like
interview.
3.
I remember you being on that show.
You said what?
I don't remember that interview, but I remember you being on that show.
Copy, yeah. But we did the show. It was a rolling news show live. We were on air for 3 hours live every single day.
3
We
hours.
had producers in our ear. We had a prompter that was rolling. And if there was like breaking news, literally brand new script on the screen, we had producers literally telling me, don't read that part, jump to paragraph 3.
And you're like,
while you still have to be cute and da-da-da, like, oh my God, nothing's happening, da-da-da, no chaos is going on in my head
And you gotta
right now.
keep conversation going
You
while
have
you're
to
hearing stuff.
I call it like the swan effect. Like swans look so beautiful by the naked eye,
Yeah.
but if you look underwater, they're like, so literally,
I like that
that's
terminology.
exactly how I felt on that show.
Yeah.
And they wanted personality, but at the same time, it was like, no, you're like our puppet. Like you need to do as we say, but still like sprinkle in your personality. And I remember almost every single day after we were done, I would lay on the floor and cry my eyes out because I felt so like nipped and tucked and
Controlled.
pulled and
Yeah.
controlled and all the things. And I told myself after that show was done,
Yeah.
I said, I will never do another show like this under that type of guise. Like I will always be able to be me, do what I want, and that's that. I'm sure I'm gonna, hop onto another show,
Right.
kind of similar to that, but I'm going in knowing what I want and what I don't
And you
want.
can say that stuff, type of stuff up front. It's like, I'm not, we can make it clear here.
Absolutely. And I'm so thankful to God, Jesus, Joseph, Mary, my ancestors,
Yep.
everyone, that I'm not in a place where financially I'm like, oh my God, please, I'll take whatever. At this point in my life, I am okay. And I'm so thankful. I'm in a place where I'm like, I don't have to take on everything.
That's
so
good.
to answer your question, I definitely felt suppressed and controlled.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it happened because it helped me fine tune who I am and what I want and what I'm willing to go for. And that's
100%.
that.
Heck yeah. And I mean, and I've experienced that same thing in a different way. I feel like my whole acting journey in my head has felt that way. And what I mean by that is, for me, when people say, oh, do you prefer music or acting? My answer is music. Like, I'm not shy to say that.
Yeah.
And the reason I say music is because I feel like I don't find freedom in, some people find freedom in this, which is fascinating. I love it. But I don't find freedom in you telling me, this is the character, this is what you wear, this is what he does.
Yeah.
I like expressing my own art.
Yeah.
Like with music, I can show you who I am and not be bound by who you wrote. and dope, because the cool thing is the writer is getting to express themselves.
Absolutely.
The producers are getting to choose which project they're producing. They're expressing it. And it's like, I personally feel like this. And there is a level that is also, there's a side of acting for me that's like, oh, that is free. That is freeing to kind of go in and do somebody else.
Yeah.
And like live a different life for a little bit. Sure. But overall, I just find more joy in being able to express my own art. So it feels like oppression to me to be acting too long.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then some people, it sounds ungrateful because people are like, people would love to do your job. And it's like, fair.
Do what I do long enough, and guess what? Let's sit down and chat.
And you know what?
It's simple as that.
But it leads me to this, because that's something that I've always struggled with. And I wonder if you've had the same experience, where when you're venting about the industry, do you feel like you've ever experienced not feeling like there's a safe space to do that, where it's not judged? Because people are gonna be like, oh, you're so arrogant. Like, oh, what was me? Like, oh, you did what? Like,
I try my hardest not to vent to family and friends. I try my
I've gotten
hardest.
to that point now, yeah.
And that's why I have a therapist.
Oh, amen.
No, truly. And even then I'm like, okay, am I silly for like talking about like the minutia of the behind the scenes of things? But I'm thankful that I do have a therapist and I'm able to vent, but I know exactly what you mean. It's like, okay, people are dying in the world. In the words of Kourtney Kardashian, there's people dying, Cam,
On another episode, they were roasting me because I watched Kardashians.
As you should.
Every episode.
As you should.
Fire.
I love
Continue
you.
though, sorry. But people are dying in the world. So yeah, it seems, I feel like people don't think it's significant what we're venting about. And it's not that I think it's the most important thing either, but I'm like,
But it's your life.
it's
Your life.
and I don't know what else to talk about. I mean, no, I'm not
I knew
trying.
what
You know
you
what I'm saying?
mean.
Like, if you come home and you're venting about if you're a lawyer and you're venting about the case you just had, that's my case. Like, that's me venting about my version of a case.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well said.
set was hard. Like, the director was like yelling. He's not good at communicating, blah, 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 blah. And then when you do it around the wrong people, I've experienced them being like, oh, you're so sad that you're on a hit show. Like, oh, the director sucks. Like, oh, suck it up. People would love to be in your position. And I'm like, so for a long time before I started therapy, I closed off, like really in a bad way, because I was like, well, I don't have any room. Like, I shouldn't feel bad. I shouldn't feel like there's anything wrong with me or in my world, because people would die to have this. So surely my feelings aren't valid, because if everybody would give up anything to be in this position, then what do I have to complain about?
Yeah.
And you don't feel validated to complain.
Yeah.
And that's false. That's false. Like,
Agreed.
get stuff off of your chest. And if you're talking to people who woe is you, then they're the wrong people.
Yeah.
Therapist is great. Also,
Well said.
Black people, another proof, more proof of how it's safe and okay to be in therapy in our culture.
Oh my God, it's so needed. It's so needed.
100%.
So necessary. I try to do, thank God, my therapist, I chat with her over the phone. She's 3 hours ahead. I'm not, I should know where she's located, but she's 3 hours ahead. So I'll wake up at like 6 a.m. in the morning normally, and I'll try to schedule a session for the moment I wake up. Because I notice the moment I wake up, I'm just kind of like in my most purest, most vulnerable state. So when I call her, it's like 9 o'clock her time. We're Gucci. I'm like crying in bed, like all the things. And I'm like, I'm ready to start my day, director.
Director. Wait. Morning person. 6 a.m. Wild. Now, granted, that goes to show that you're probably working a lot more than me because I'm back in my flow of not being a morning person.
Pop off. It's ebbs and flows.
And it's
ebbs
on,
and flows.
On an ebb. The flow is not flowing.
Listen, it's clearly flowing. Shut up.
Well, okay, fair. But have you always been a morning person?
No. I used to wake up at friggin' noon.
Okay.
I didn't know 6 had an AM. You know what I mean? It was truly like that.
I didn't know 6 had an AM.
Truly, cool. Once upon a time. But now I wake up bright and early, and I'm like, someone touch me, speak to me. No, truly.
But that's what I was gonna say because you're talking about someone waking up in therapy, and I'm like, I'm just struggling to get things down and moving.
No,
you know what down means.
Oh my God! Whoa!
I knew you'd appreciate that. But you know what I'm saying? Like my first thoughts are not, I want to talk. Actually, you know, I'm the complete opposite.
Really?
100%. Like, don't talk to me till double digits.
What's your sign? Tell me.
Oh, yeah, here we go. What do you think it is? Because you were wrong the first
Cancer.
guess. No. Do you want to guess again or want me to tell you? I might have some moons or whatever of some of that
Probably.
stuff.
Tell me.
Gemini.
You're a Gemini.
Okay, wait. That was a good reaction.
I know normally people hate Gemini.
I'll say Gemini and they'll be like, oh. And I'm like, bipolar a little bit, sure, but fun.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
My brother's a Gemini. Like I talk to him almost like
y'all
every
get along?
day.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. Vibes.
So June
10th.
Oh, he's the 18th.
So that's the homie. Okay, dude, I don't know anything
We
about
get along.
star signs.
I'm an Aries.
What are you?
Aries. I said we get along. We get along.
Right.
Titus.
I'm forced. Now that you were Aries, I got to. So is Gemini, and I don't know anything about it. Is Gemini air sign?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Y'all hit us up in the comments. Whatever.
Okay,
I don't know. I'm not sure.
So are you heavy into the signs of it all?
I am heavy, but clearly I'm not that heavy. I don't know if it's an air sign or.
But so here's a question I like to ask all the time, and I feel like you get this question all the time, like people that are into it heavy. Yeah. If I wasn't something that matched, would you still give effort to get along, or would you know it's just not going to work?
In real life, not really.
Wait, not really what?
If I felt like I knew we didn't get along, I'm like, cool, we can be cordial, but I know it's not going any further.
Really? Because of the sign? You already know?
Yeah, I think okay. I'm such an empath that I can feel, and then when I get confirmation on the sign, I'm like, okay, been there, done that. It's very much so like Usher. You remind me of a girl that I once knew. Yeah.
So you will legit. Okay, at least you give some credit to trying to tap in emotionally first.
Yeah.
So
I can feel
you
off
won't
the
dismiss.
bat.
So what if we really, really, really get along? You find out I'm a sign that doesn't match you. Do you cut it off or do you let it roll?
No, because then that means that your moon is probably something that I'm compatible with. I kid you not. Like, don't be afraid. Like you could be a freaking Gemini with like a Cancer moon and then like an Cancer ascending. You know what I mean? So that's essentially who you are, what you like project.
So do you say grand rising?
No.
Okay, so because I don't know what it means, but one of my friends says it when she texts me. It's a beautiful statement.
Okay.
But I'm like, like she won't say good morning, she'll say grand rising.
Oh, darling.
And I'm like, I just didn't know if you knew what that meant because I've never done
I've heard it, but I just don't use that.
But fascinating.
Like I said, I'm an empath. I can feel like truly the moment I meet someone if it's going to be a thing.
So how does that translate to the dating life?
Well, currently I am not dating, and dating while being gay and black and all the things in LA is
a celebrity.
It's truly an experience. And you know, I know a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, dating is terrible. It's a freaking nightmare." I look at it like it gives me a chance to get to know me more so. You know,
So are you the type that can? I hate this about dating life. I don't enjoy this, and what I mean by this is like. The frequent, yeah. Like, like it's redundant. I'm like, I feel like I'm doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing an episode of something where it's like, I got to do the question thing and get to know you. I'm like, how do I bypass that? But I still want to get to know you, but just not I don't feel like doing the dinner thing and like I'm paying and then you never talk and like, did you just want a meal?
Yeah.
Like, where are we?
Right. No, that totally makes sense. At this point in my life where I'm at, I'm just praying to God, the universe, like, please just bring me my soulmate who will best compliment me. You know what I want. And I've done all the things.
Have you done apps?
I've done all of the things. I don't think you understand, Titus. Social anxiety is afraid of me. If I knew every man was gay in this world, I would be married. Because when I'm out and about and I see people, I'm like, come here, let's
you're
chat.
confident to speak.
I don't care. I think for anything, I walk on eggshells sometimes. Sometimes.
Like
literally. Sometimes I walk on eggshells because I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if this guy is gay or not. I don't want him to feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean? But
what's your type? Sorry, cut you off.
I love it. I love a guy who's like not afraid to be himself.
Okay.
He's a little nerdy, taller than me. Great teeth. I'm 5'7".
You're
You're
5'7"?
I come across taller, don't I? Right?
What?
Yeah, I'm 5'7", and I also have these boots on, but I'm 5'7".
I've always in my head, you've always been eye to eye with me.
No.
You're 5'7"?
I'm very like gazelle-like.
And you feel long. Like you feel like you're 6 foot.
Yeah.
6'1" maybe.
No, I'm 5'7".
Wow.
I'm bite size.
Great.
Party size.
But anyway, back to your type.
I love a man who's like taller than me, who has a foundation, who believes in family.
Sorry, you said bite size. I just calculated that. Funny.
Yeah.
Has a family.
And who loves, he's very family oriented, who is, who's just a decent, great guy who's compassionate.
So you can tell by his answer that you done been through some bad situations. Because like when you get to that point, when women, men, whoever, whatever you're into gets to the point where they're like, I just want a nice person.
No.
You know that they done been through some frogs. They done been through some F-boys and some F-girls. Like, you can tell.
Like, listen,
and it's beautiful.
Once again, I keep saying I'm an Aries, but I believe that the way that I navigate in this world is very childlike. You know, when kids are like outside playing and they scuff their knee, they fall like off their bike, and they scuff their knee, they'll cry for a second, but then guess what? They'll get back up and do it again. That's me. It's crazy. I'm shocked that I'm still.
I'm like, so wait, does that translate into even if you're like, all right, I'm never messing with an F-boy again, you'll fall, get up, and do it again? Does that translate to that world?
Well, clearly you listen. No, I don't think I've definitely bumped my head, banged my head on a brick wall several times. But at this
I'm
point,
reading through all the analogies here. Yeah.
But at this point in time in my life, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm a little tuckered out.
Okay, so you are more in what I was saying, in that space where it's like, I just want peace. A nice person that's like a vibe and some peace.
Yeah. Like
I don't want to have to be worried about who else you talking to, unless you're into that. Open.
No, listen. No, I'm at this point in time. I'm like, no. Me. It needs to be me. You need to enjoy me.
People ask me that. I mean, because it's so normalized now, and it's no judgment towards anybody, but I'm jealous. I'm a jealous type, and I'm like, if you're not rocking with me, like if we're not locked in, cool. Go on whatever date you want to. I haven't locked it in. You haven't locked it in.
Are you dating? Are you in a relationship?
I'm not in a relationship, but I've started Hinge again.
You're so sexy. I've always thought Titus was so cute.
That's very.
I've
kind.
always thought. So ladies, whatever you're into, whatever. Yeah, get on it. Jump on it. Ride it for me. Carry on.
But I have been. Thank you. That's very kind. I have been. He's so stupid. I have been on Hinge recently, so if you swipe across, I have a fake name up there because just in case people,
good for you.
You know what I'm saying? Not that I think I'm any sort of.
I know what you mean.
But you know what I mean? But I don't want it to cross-reference. I don't want them to be like, oh, Titus, and I'm easy to find on Instagram, and then you only like me because you see what comes along on the Instagram.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
I should do that.
Yeah, because I was like, I just put TJ. I guess it doesn't matter. I'll say it because you see me. I put TJ so people can't go type it in on Instagram.
Good
so I'm like, you gonna like me based on what I'm showing you here, not based on, because if I go to your page, right? If I click your thing and I go to your Instagram and I see you're interviewing all these celebrities and you're hanging out with celebrities and you're doing all this stuff, then I'm probably gonna like you more naturally, which is not for the right reasons.
Isn't that something? That's deep.
Naturally, they're gonna be like, well, I mean, I thought he was good looking, but now I'm really attracted because he comes along with perks.
Yeah.
So I was like, we ain't doing that.
Good for you. Don't you just want to be fucking loved? You know what's so crazy?
100%.
I have to say this, Titus.
Please.
Because I feel like this is something that we as peers
Yeah.
don't speak about. Like, it can be extremely lonely in LA in this space because most people come here to work and they're not necessarily trying to cultivate a solid, relationship. So they may entertain you just to entertain you. But I don't think that anyone's looking for, I don't say anyone. I just feel like the people that I've come encountered with, they are not looking for that substance.
I 100% agree with you. I mean, even our producer, Courtney, like I truly, and I could be very wrong, I truly feel like the most successful relationships started before they came to LA. Like they were married before they got here. Crazy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like most people are like, or they're from some hometown area. So with that said, because I agree with what you said, but you've been here from 7.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, listen, through therapy, what I'm learning is that I kind of latched on to the arts because I loved it, but also it was more of a like validation type of thing.
Ooh,
and now that I'm older and I have the things that I've always wanted, I've realized that that doesn't mean that you're going to get the love that you necessarily wanted. Is that clear? That's something that I'm learning through therapy. It's like, oh my God, I've done all the things. Not all the things yet, but I've done a majority of the things that I wanted to do on my list. And I thought it was going to come with like the men who like love you and appreciate you. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. But now I'm in a place where I'm like, that's clearly not the case. You have to truly go into this loving yourself and knowing who you are. And if you don't, learn.
And does that, amen. And does that also mean learning to accept potential singleness?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because I think as I get older, that's what I've been accepting the potential reality of. Not in like a depressing way, just in a way of like, as you're younger, I'm like, oh, I'll be married by this age, have a kid by 25, blah, 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 blah. You have all these things.
Yeah.
And as you get older, you're like, maybe I won't. Yeah. Like accepting that. Not in a bad way.
Yes.
I still want those things. But I'm like, if it doesn't happen, I'm like,
we're still going to be okay.
I need to find peace and joy in stillness and solitude.
That's where I'm at right now, Titus.
I think that's a beautiful place.
I kid you not. Being okay with, if I don't get married, if I don't ever have kids, cool. It is what it is. It's not for everyone.
Right. Literally, and that's wild to me.
It's really not.
It's really not. And you see older people, some of my uncles aren't married to this day.
Yeah.
And as I get older, I'm starting to realize how that happened. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, no, I've dated. It's just, you just either don't find somebody, or it could be a them thing too. Where they just kind of
like, I'm good. I don't ever want
to. Because they, some of my uncles is pimps. They good on their lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? But it's just fascinating. And I also struggle with that same concept on the career side. So I've come more to the acceptance of it on the relationship side. But on the career side, I'm struggling with it. So
how so?
Okay, so when I picture my career, you imagine, okay, I want to and it'll be great to win a Grammy, great to win an Oscar. You like have these like points that you want to hit. But then accepting the reality that's like, oh, what if, and I don't like thinking like this because I feel like it mutes you a little bit, but what if I'm not the person that is going to win the Oscar? Like, it doesn't happen to everybody. Like, it quite literally doesn't happen to everybody. So I'm like, but there's been multiple people that have had that aspiration. So what do you do with that energy? I'm learning to come to terms with it now. But how have you, and that's not to say we're not going to do that. Okay, but how have you kind of processed that?
Let me just say, being, and this is all confirmation, being okay with what if it doesn't happen is the sweet spot. That is what I'm learning right now. If I don't win a freaking Grammy, if I don't win, an Emmy, it's okay. You've done a lot. You've come extremely fucking far. Like, truly, that's huge. No, I kid you not. And that's something I was just thinking about a few days ago. But I will say, in my life, what I'm realizing, a lot of things happen to me in my life that people couldn't even imagine. Like, huh? How did that happen? So I know that greater things are coming.
Yeah, amen. No.
I don't know exactly what,
I don't know when.
But I just know it. I just know it. I may not know the minutia of it all, but
and you can feel it. Like, you can feel that there's something up the pike. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what that is. I'm hoping it's some of the things that I've set out. You know what I mean? But like, I think that's huge. Learning to accept the fact that you've done a lot. Like, sometimes I'll look back on my life, and it is truly that thing that you guys hear about, where it's like you're moving so fast in the industry that sometimes you're like, oh wait, I actually have achieved a lot of my goals. Like
Titus,
I remember,
for God's sake, you were on a huge show, like The Rookie. Like, how fucking dope is that?
Right.
Like, give yourself all of the flowers right now, because there's somebody in freaking Oklahoma right now on their hands and knees praying to just read a line, say a line on a network television show. Do you know what I mean? So we have to constantly, as artists, that's what I'm learning, have to give ourselves flowers along the way. Instead of looking at all the things we have done, like, oh, no, that's nothing because I want the Grammy. That's nothing. No. You know,
you kind of get trapped in that where it's like, oh, I've done this, but it's not that.
Yup. That's literally shitting on yourself.
Literally.
Like, oh, you're okay. It's truly like being in a relationship with someone and just every single day, like, you're not good enough.
Right.
You can still be around until the next great thing comes. You can be here just on the sideline.
That's deep.
That's gross.
It's
fucking gross.
Facts though, like it really is. And honestly, what's giving me peace sometimes is when, I mean, it sounds morbid, but when I see entertainers that are successful, that are at points in their career that seemingly look like places I want to be, talk about like, I've had many number ones and I've never been nominated for a Grammy.
Is that something?
And it's crazy because it just shows me that yearn never goes away, and you have to accept and appreciate your current position in your journey. You have to, because if I have number ones and I start killing it like I aspire to, it still doesn't guarantee
a Grammy. Yeah,
we see it something? Literally, like the amount of Grammys that some of these artists should have that don't. But then somebody from TikTok swipes in and is not for best new artist like 1 year into music. And we got goats in the game that are like, I got one Grammy, and they have hits for years. Anyway, the point is, I agree with what you said. Like that is the biggest takeaway for me too. I'm just working on accepting my space career-wise.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm so good. I really am. I'm so fucking thankful.
Have you ever, well, maybe you already are. Tell me if you are. Have you ever been interested in a fashion line, starting in like going in the fashion world?
Of course.
Okay, I was like,
of course, like all the things from like a doll, like a Ruba doll, to like, you know, my own like clothing line, like all of that's going to happen when it's supposed to. Like I kid you not, I will never forget. I remember watching The Secret. I don't know if you are familiar with
the book.
It's like manifesting and all the things. I saw that there's some sort of like DVD or whatever at the time. I was like 16 years old. I wrote down, I was like, I'm going to be the face of UGG, because I was so obsessed with like Uggs.
Wait, that would be a dope campaign.
No, I kid you not. I was like, I'm gonna be the face of UGG, because I was so obsessed with it. And years down the line, I get a call from my agent. They were like, we want you to be, UGG wants you to be the face of their spring summer
so it happened.
line. It happened randomly. My face, literally, billboards, all the things.
That's amazing.
Overseas, London, it just, the coolest thing. But I just let it go, and I was okay with it not ever happening. I was like, whatever it does. I'm so content. I'm so good in my space that I literally got a call and
what a superpower.
booked the job. I kid you not. So
to be able to let stuff go.
I'm just saying, like, I know it's definitely an art. It really is. But at this point, the universe knows what I want, and if I don't ever get them, cool, because I'm so good
content
with where I'm at right now. This is so cool to be here
on
your show, chatting with you. This is great.
Thank you. I say superpower because it takes a lot of mental strength to not latch to something and accept the realities. Like he says it really, really smooth, but that takes a lot of growth.
I know that. I know that to be true.
Good for you. That's like,
don't be fooled by the face, you know?
Don't be fooled by the rocks today. Is that what the lyrics are?
I'm still Ruba from the block.
Hey,
you said have a little, now have a lot.
Okay, so music side. So where are we at in the music journey? I mean, I know I was listening to your stuff on your page. And fire, because you're
Muchas
doing.
gracias.
Yeah, I was about to say you do Spanish music, correct?
Sí.
Come on,
yeah.
I didn't even know you spoke Spanish until I was listening to the song.
Yo hablo poquito español, papi.
Poquito, but you making full songs.
I'm sorry?
Poquito, but you making full songs.
Yeah, you know, listen, I just got back from Argentina. I was in Buenos Aires, oh my God, a few weeks ago. And I just released my single, Casualidad.
Come on.
And just, I'm having so much fun. And once again, speaking of letting go and not attaching yourself to outcomes and things of that nature, I told myself, I love music. Let me just do what I want to do, and that's that.
That's the win. That's where I'm at right now. That's why I can transition from acting just fine. Not that I'm not going to do acting, but that's why I'm so okay. Music puts me in a mindset where I'm like, I'm just enjoying creating it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going to come of it, but I actually enjoy creating it.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It really is. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
really where I'm at right now. And I'm having fun and I'm honoring little Ruba, who's always wanted to do music and produce.
Did you always want to do Spanish music? How'd that come about?
I was actually shooting in Cartagena, Colombia last year.
That's dope.
In December of last year. And we had an off day and it was like me and like 4 of the guys, a part of the crew. And they're like, oh my God, let's go to this club. I don't like going to clubs, period, point blank. I don't want to be around a whole bunch of people touching my hair in the dark. Like, that's just not my vibe.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, we're in Colombia. Why not? I'm rolling deep with like 4 other guys. I'm okay.
Run it up.
So we went to the club and they were playing like this like reggaeton record. And I was like, this is the music I want to do. And I kid you not, linked up with
And look at the divine timing of that. You never go to clubs, you finally go, and it inspired your whole career. The next
all of
chapter?
it.
That's
Once
crazy.
again, none of this was premeditated.
That's crazy.
It was just like, all right, cool. We're doing these segments, Men on the Street segments, and just gonna have some fun in Colombia. Let's do it. And the next thing you know it, music came of it. And now I'm just working with this amazing team, Booga, Shay,
And the music
Sabi
is,
Bali.
the quality is phenomenal. The vibes are phenomenal. Like I was like, me and my boy, I was screen sharing and we were on your page and we were just looking through your stuff. And I was like,
Oh my God.
I don't know. I can't speak Spanish, you know what I'm saying? But,
I love it.
But come on in.
Thank you, baby.
Okay, Latin Grammys.
Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Okay, so before I end podcast, I like to do a little game with my folks.
Let's do it.
It's gonna be F, Marry, Kill.
Oh,
but we're not gonna do
Lord.
people. I'm not gonna put you in positions to have to kill certain people.
No thanks.
So we're gonna do it with songs.
Okay. Ooh.
Classic songs.
Ooh, I like
But now
that.
that I know you like Britney, I might switch it. Hold on.
No. Whatever comes
No, I
along.
want to make it challenging for you.
Okay, fair.
Actually, I'll do two rounds.
Okay.
One round's gonna be all Britney songs, and this first round is gonna be not Britney songs.
Okay.
All right. So F, Marry, Kill. Boy Is Mine, Brandy and Monica.
Uh-huh.
Killing Me Softly, Lauryn Hill.
Uh-huh.
Halo, Beyonce.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to Killing Me Softly. I'm sorry. And I know Lauryn Hill is a Gemini. She's incredible, one of the dopest MCs / singers in the entire world. But I'm gonna have to kill that song. Mary.
Kill it. Not even interested for that, huh?
I'm sorry.
You're like, actually, that confirmed.
That confirmed it. No. Yes, I would Killing Me Softly.
Okay.
I would marry Boy Is Mine.
Okay, vibe.
And fuck Halo because like I want my
That's
like
a little sacrilegious.
I want
throw that in.
my
Okay.
future husband to be playing Halo as he's like railing me.
What?
Yeah.
What? The fantasy.
Yeah, you
That's
saw
a
it,
wild
right?
No.
All the claps, no hands.
And well, that's why we bring Ruba places, just to
my
wake you up. If you're sleepy, you ain't
Is it
sleepy.
up?
Right time.
Is it up? Get it up.
You can't say any
Can
word.
you keep up?
Baby, okay, second round. F, Marry, Kill. Okay, this is top of the dome. Let me think of some Britney songs.
Okay.
I mean, we all know Britney songs. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try to stump you. F, Marry, Kill. Hit Me, Baby, one more time. I'm trying to think of ones that would really, Give Me. Is that what's called? Give Me More? Okay. And let me try with, Slave. Oh no. Oh, cap. Let me start over. Take Out, Gimme. We're gonna go to her classics. Oh, that is a classic, but her younger years. Hit Me, Baby, one more time. Slave and Toxic.
Oh shoot. Oh
Those are
my
good.
God.
Those
so
are
it's
good.
Toxic,
Slave for You.
for You, and Baby.
Yep.
I know maybe young.
No.
I've got
that is
feelings
how-
too.
Whoa, that is how it starts.
I'm oh shoot.
Why not even question
Freaking
you?
A. That's tough. I think I would kill.
It hurts him to say it.
I think I'm gonna kill Toxic. And I know I feel like all the
It's
straight
so-
people love Toxic.
It's such a bop.
Like Toxic, the music video, incredible. Like muy increíble. Joseph Kahn, incredible music video director. He directed that video.
The fact that you
Incredible.
know that, that's how you know you're a deep Britney fan.
So I would have to kill Toxic. Wow. I would have to fuck Slave.
I knew you was gonna say.
I know maybe young, but I've got feelings too. And I
whole
need
video.
to do what I feel like doing.
Not all the ad libs.
So let me go and just listen. Ha!
We had to do that on the Glee tour.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
bop.
so
Heather
good.
Morris killed that.
I
Did you ever
know.
watch Glee?
She
ate
of course,
that
you were on
Britney
Glee.
episode.
You're one of the
What?
warblers.
Man,
I
she
know all
ate
of
that
that.
up.
Another
Yeah.
legendary moment of yours. So yeah, I would kill Toxic. I would fuck Slave and marry
Marry.
Baby because Baby,
Classic.
she was 15, 16 years old. You couldn't tell her nothing.
The order of that sentence sounded horrible. I would marry you. She was 15 years old.
Girl, listen, I thought I was her. That was my moment. I was like, oh my God, what are these feelings that I'm feeling? I am gay. I am Britney.
But you was not for her.
That was my sister. Do you understand?
Okay. So you never had a little crush? Not even. Okay,
On a girl?
On a girl,
I
ever.
actually have. I had a lesbian moment in my life. I did. Looking back, like, wow.
Why is it a lesbian moment at that point? Wouldn't it just be a straight moment?
No, it was very. I was because I was a woman.
Okay. Do you have different pronouns?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I
just
don't.
You never know.
But
So I was
no,
like,
to be honest, and this
Yeah.
is a conversation for a whole nother day.
Yeah.
But looking back, people really threw a lot on me just
Yeah.
because I loved, women and Britney and all the things. I'm like, oh, he's gay. There was points in time in my life where I was like in middle school. Like
Yeah.
there was a girl that I loved. I was like, oh my God, I love this girl. But it wasn't until like later where I started to, cave into the throes
I'm
of
just-
reality.
He said that was my sister. I'm like, because there's a lot of men on any spectrum of sexuality that will all admit that, like, yeah, I don't care what I'm into, Beyonce can get it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh no, she couldn't get it from me.
Really?
No, that's gross. That's like my mom.
So she is mother.
Yeah, no, she's
Yeah.
definitely mother. There's
Yeah.
no way I'm like, oh yeah, Beyonce could get it.
I love it. Ruba,
Gross.
what a great way to end. Thank you for this time. Thank you for coming, for supporting me in my little festive journey.
There's
You've
nothing
been
little
there.
about this. This is great.
Come on, you heard it here first.
This is
We
great.
big over here. But anyway, thank you so much. You're a beautiful human being.
Thank you,
And I look
baby.
forward to talking to you more.